So in this video, we're gonna continue discussing the general education mathematics let review, and this is the part 3, which is the solution for numbers 21 to 30. So let's have problem number 21. Given that f of x is 3x plus 2 and g of x is 2x minus 3, which of the following expressions results to g of f of x? So let's find out the answer. So the answer for this is 6x plus 1. So how do we get 6x plus 1? This problem is actually about a composite function problem. And composite function is a function that has a function on its variable. Instead of a number substituted to the variable x, it is another function that is substituted to it. So in g of f of x, the outer or the main function there is the g of x, which is 2x minus 3. And then in g of f of x, it means we are going to substitute x into the function f of x, which is 3x plus 2. So this is what I'm talking about. So the x will be replaced by 3x plus 2. So it's different from evaluating a function because we, instead of substituting x into a number, we substitute x into another function. And then we will simplify. We distribute the 2. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 2 is 4. And then copy the negative 3. And then we combine the constants 4 and negative 3. So the g of f of x will be 6x plus 1. Number 22. 3 kilos of fish meat can be purchased at the market for 150 pesos. How much would it cost 5 kilos of fish meat? So let's figure out the answer. So the answer for number 22 is 250 pesos. So how do we get this answer? So we know that it's 150 pesos for 3 kilos. So for us to know the cost of 5 kilos, we need to know first how much is each kilo. So using the given 150 pesos, we're going to divide it by 3 because 150 pesos is 3 kilos. So if you divide it, you will have 50 pesos. That means it's 50 pesos per kilo of fish meat. Now let us multiply this by 5 because we want to know for 5 kilos. So 50 times 5 is 250 pesos, and that's the answer for number 22. Number 23. What is the value of x if 10 to the power of x minus 1 is equal to 1000? So let's answer this. The answer for number 23 is 4. So how do you get 4? So from the given, we rewrite the 1000 into 10 cubed because 10 times 10 times 10 is 1000. And so that it would look like the same form with the one at the left side. So since they are both 10, so the same base having different exponents, so we can say that x minus 1 should be equal to 3. And if we transpose negative 1 to the other side, it becomes positive. And if you combine, it will be x equals 4. Now you might ask, where did the number 10 go? So is it cancelled? Why is it gone? So we didn't cancel. We just used the logic that this is 10 to the power of something and equals 10 to the power of 3. So it must be having the same exponent so that they are the same. So that's why x minus 1 should be equal to 3 for both statements in both sides to be equal. So we didn't cancel the 10, we just used the logic that x minus 1 should be equal to 3 because they are having the same base, which is 10. Now, what if um, the one of the right side is cannot be having the same base? So let's say it's 125. So that means they are having different base, so we cannot just put them into equal exponent directly because it's 10 to the power of something and it's 5 to the power of 3, just for example. So you cannot put the two exponents into equals. So let me show you another way which is longer, but at least it can solve if they are having different base, just in case. So we can use a log both sides, so they are still equal because we log both sides. And as you can see, there's no base in the log because it means it's 10. So log 10 to the power of x minus 1 base 10 if there's no base in between log and the 10. So the reason why we log both sides, so that because there's a property in log that we can put the exponent at the side. So it's x minus 1 times log 10. And the cube now in 10 will be put at the side, which is 3 log 10. And then next is we can divide both by log 10 so that we can cancel it. And what's left is x minus 1 equals 3. So the same procedure, transpose negative 1, it becomes 3 plus 1, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So it's the same answer. So that's how you do it, just in case you cannot equate the two exponents because they have different base. But in this case, since they are both 10, so just equate the exponent so that it's easier and shorter to solve. Number 24. What is the sum of log 2 base 5 and log 3 base 5? So let us solve this. So the answer for number 24 is log 6 base 5. So how do we get this answer? So since it's given that it's sum of log 2 and log 3, so it means we're going to add them. But if in property of adding logarithms, when you add them, it will be combined as one as a single logarithm, but then the bases will be multiplied. So that's the idea. If you add them, then the bases will be multiplied. The same as if you subtract them, the bases will be divided. So 2 times 3 is 6, so log 6 base 5. Number 25. What is the value of x if log 125 base 5 is equal to x? So let's find the answer. So the answer for number 25 is 3. So how do you get 3? From the given, log 125 base 5 equals x. For you to get the answer, you can just input these values, including the log, in the scientific calculator. But in case if you are not allowed to use calculator, or there's no log in your calculator, log function, so you have to do it manually. So to solve this, we are going to transform it into exponential form. So observe how to change this into exponential form. Alright, so it is now in its exponential form, and it's easier now to solve. So this 125 can be written as 5 cubed, because 5 times 5 is 125. Now, the same idea as the previous example, or the same idea as the previous problem, they both have the same base, 5, so we can equate the x by the other exponent. So we didn't cancel the 5, we just used the logic that for them to be equal, they must be having the same exponent. So x is equal to 3. But as I said, if the problem does not allow you to have the same base, it will end up with different base. It's 5 to the power of x and equals to, let's say, 6 to the power of 3. So you use the log solution to solve the problem. Number 26. Anna had a student loan from an educational assistance foundation to pay for her educational expenses this year. What is the interest of the loan if she borrowed 2,000 at 8% for a year? So let's find out the answer. So the answer for number 26 is 160 pesos. So how do we get the answer? So to find the interest, we use this formula, PRT, or principal amount times the rate times the time. So let us substitute based on the given. The principal amount or the amount borrowed is 2,000 times the rate, which is 8%, but of course we change it to decimal to solve so that it can be computed, because we cannot compute it if it's in percent. So how did we get 0.08? So we just simply divide 8 by 100, and then the time or the t is 1 year, so it's times 1. Then multiply all these three, you will get 160. Number 27. Mrs. Sato borrowed a sum of money from a friend. How much money will she return if she lent 20,000 pesos at 10% compounded annually for 2 years? So let's solve this problem. The answer for number 27 is 24,200 pesos. So how do we get this answer? So since it's compounded, so it's a compound interest, I'm going to use this formula for the future amount, which is P, or the principal amount, times 1 plus the rate over the term, or n, to the power of n times t, which is time. So the P there is the amount that is being borrowed. The R is the rate of compounded interest. Now n is how many times it will compute the interest within a year. So it says annually, so it's computed once, and then the next year it will be another one. So it's yearly, so it's once a year. Now if it's compounded monthly, then it's gonna be the n will be 12, because you're gonna compute the percentage of interest. I mean, compute the interest every month. If it's compounded quarterly, so it will be 4 times a year that the percentage will be computed. So if you might ask, what's the difference between compounded and the simple interest? Simple interest is computing the interest for the whole year, so it's just once. Unlike the compounded, it can be every month. That means the interest that was added will also take an interest. So there is an interest in the interest. So that means for compounded, it can be bigger amount compared to simple interest. So let's continue. Let's substitute. The P is 20,000. That was borrowed, and one is constant. That's always one in the formula, plus the rate. The rate is 10%, or 0.10 in decimal, or you can write 0.1. That's still the same, over the n, which is 1, the annually, meaning it will compute the interest once every year, to the power of 1, which is the n, times 2. The 2 is 2 years. Then we will multiply 2 times 1 is 2, and divide 0.10 divided by 1 is just itself. And then we will combine what's inside the parentheses, 1 plus 0.10. So what, 1.10. Then of course, after you do the grouping, then you do first the exponent based on the gem, that's grouping, exponent, multiplication or division, and then addition or subtraction. So 1.10 squared is 1.21, and then multiply to 20,000 times 1.21, that's 24,200, and that is the future amount for 2 years. Number 28. Sarah invested a certain amount of money and got back an amount of 8,400 pesos. If the bank paid an interest of 700 pesos, how much money was invested by Sarah? So let us find the answer for this number 28. Okay, so the answer for number 28 is 7,700 pesos. So how do we get this answer? Now, it is just a simple interest because there is no term used as compounded. And the future amount is equal to the principal amount, the amount you borrowed, plus, or the amount you invested, plus the interest added. So that's the total amount or the future amount. Now, there is no given rate, so that means we will not change the I into PRT because there's no rate and time given. So just simply I, because interest is given, which is 700 pesos. So we'll substitute whatever is given. So future amount is given, that's 8,400. It's amount of money and got back an amount of 8,400. So what is missing is the amount invested, or the principal amount. And the interest is given 700 pesos. So we don't know how much is the rate and how long, or the time. Now to find the principal amount, just transpose the 700 to the left side, becomes negative, and then you combine. It will be 7,700, or you can write it this way if you are uncomfortable with the previous one. So the principal amount, or the amount invested by Sarah, is 7,700 pesos. Number 29. A basketball team has to play 3 games in an elimination round. What is the probability of winning one elimination game? So let's find the answer. So the answer for this is 1/3. So how do you get this 1/3? So the probability, to get a probability, so this is the general formula. The numerator should be the event, and the denominator will be the total number of results, or total number of possible results. In this case, what the event that we want to know is the number of times we win, which is, it's given it must be one game. So we have 1, and then the total number of games is over 3, so it's 1/3. The following is a random sample of the number of cupcakes sold per day: 56, 62, 49, 73, 38, 60, 78, 42, and 55. What's the mean of the number of cupcakes sold? So let's determine the answer. So the answer for this is 57. So how to get 57? It's asking for the mean of these values, and mean in simpler term is average. So get the average of these numbers. So the formula for mean, so first is the symbol for mean is the x bar, or the average, which is equal to, the numerator will be the sum of x, or the total values of those numbers given. Those are the x's. And the denominator is the n, or the total, or I mean the number of given. So in this case, there are 9 given, so the denominator is 9. I'm going to add all of them and put it in the numerator. So the sum is 513, and then we will divide it by 9 because there are 9 of them. So the mean is 57. So thanks for watching this part 3 video, and I hope you have learned something from it, and check out for the part 4 of this let review.